Oh, shit. Here we go again.
And I promise you this, above all else, I'm going to be more obnoxious, more overbearing, and I'm going to make you all learn to love it because you'll have no choice. It's time!
Welcome to the Probably Wrong Podcast. Tony, Mike, Dave. We're caffeinated, and I'm going to say not so aggravated, so we'll probably be nice to you.
Yes, and I drank all my drink already. So I am fully caffeinated.
He's
for
all
tonight's
fired
show.
up. He might be aggravated.
I just realized it's gone.
Yeah. Dave has his Yeti. He's a little bougie over there, huh? How expensive was that cup?
What's in the Yeti
I think that
tonight?
was a Christmas gift.
Yeah?
Yeah, I got the purple, the grape.
Oh, the grape, yeah. A little mustard-colored Yeti.
I went with 3 scoops.
Oh, you did?
I figured I might need it tonight.
Yes.
I had a lot of scoops tonight. I lost track. It was a little clumpy. I kept adding it, and Tony saw me take my first sip, and I was like, ooh, I gotta add some more water to that one.
Yeah, it's been a long week.
It kind of has been.
Yeah. So,
But it's been a good week for Boston sports.
sports-wise, yeah.
Huge week for Boston sports.
Yeah. No complaints there.
Yeah. Not yet. Give it an hour or so.
Give it about 10 minutes once we start talking Pats.
Let's check in tomorrow.
So, speaking of complaining, I was talking to Tony about this before the show started.
That's me.
That's this guy here to my right, to your left. And I think about 3 weeks ago, you sent me a clip of another local talk show
Yes.
on EEI.
Yep.
And I listened to it. I go, oh, that was, pretty insightful. And then I slowly started dipping my toes into EEI because I'm getting pretty tired and fed up with the negativity on the other station.
A lot of complaining over there.
Oh, dude, everything. And then for about the past 2 weeks now, that's all I've listened to. And it's been such refreshing just to hear just not negativity constantly. Yeah, I'm sorry, are they a rah-rah show? No. But last night, I was forced for an hour to listen to Felger and Maz.
Yep.
And literally every phone call, people were calling just excited about the Pats win and the Red Sox in the playoffs. And they were literally shitting on everybody. And I'm like, since I took a break and now I'm back,
You notice it.
I noticed it. I go, that's all it was. Everyone, oh, this guy's an idiot. He had nothing intelligent to say. I go,
Yeah.
no, he's just happy that Crochet's going to be on the mound. We haven't had playoff baseball. Why do we need to tear everything down?
Right. Why can't we just be fans?
And I'm pretty negative.
You are very negative. Goes to show you how negative they are.
Oh my goodness! I'm like, that's all. I'm like, that's it. And I get it. Negativity fuels, but I'm like, that's all it was. And like Jim Murray tried to speak something up, and they immediately shunned him right down. I go, man, I can't wait till he breaks away and gets his own show. But
Yeah, maybe goes to another station.
yeah, I mean, I couldn't wait. I quickly figured out how to download the app so I didn't have to have that problem again. And
Right.
I have, a couple people told me in the past, oh, we stopped listening to 98.5, and I'm like, loses 90. But since I've stopped, it's
I think they're better. Yeah. They actually have intelligent sports conversations, and everybody gets to get their point across, and it's not so much bickering back and forth. It's so annoying to listen to that.
Yeah, and it's not like the early Ben Maller show where he entertains all the stupid phone calls. And that's what I was worried about. I go, don't tell me they're going to do that. No, they do excellent at flipping through it. And
Yep.
especially in that afternoon, Ted Johnson really comes on at 3 o'clock with them. And I'm like, man, I forgot how much I like listening to Ted. But yes, if you're tired of the 98.5 negativity,
Make the switch. Make the switch.
And I'm not going to lie, it took me a little while to get into the rhythm to listen to it.
Yep.
And now I'm like, the radio dial for the most part never changes.
That's good.
93.7?
No, it's
Yeah.
103.7.
Yes, but no, they have two.
Oh, they have two?
Yeah.
Okay.
I listen on 93.7.
Okay.
So, but
Sorry, dude.
Yeah. Oh, that's all right.
Yep.
I've tuned in a little bit. I stopped listening to 98.5 a while ago. Because, I don't know, I just can't stand what they have to say, so.
So, the afternoon show, there's this guy by the name of Fitzy. He's like a hoorah Patriots, fanboy.
Yeah.
But he's actually very, very funny. And then there's a kid from my hometown, Andy Hart, who is more like us.
Yep.
Hot one day, cold the next day, based on the performance that you saw. So they kind of even each other out.
And I love it because when he gets too high, Ted Johnson's there to bring him right down.
Yep.
And I like it how they pick a little bit on Ted Johnson.
Yes.
And I'm like,
which you would never do in real life.
He's a big boy.
Yeah.
So, and even the morning show, like the Hillman, I couldn't stand him when he was on AAF. I was a toucher and rich guy the whole way. I thought Hillman was a pompous ass. And since I've been listening to his show, because like from 5:30 to 6 forever, it was just like a replay. And I'm like, well, they're actually pretty good.
Yeah, all right, that's good.
So, I recommend it. Give it a try.
I'm kind of surprised that you made that transition so easily.
Yeah, like I said, it took about 3 weeks or so.
Yeah, that's good for you.
Yeah.
That normally doesn't happen.
No, it doesn't. But it was just refreshing to hear some of the takes, and I'm like, yes, thank you.
Yeah.
Okay, all right, and just... and like I said, when I listened to it yesterday, I'm like, they are so negative.
It's annoying.
Oh.
Yeah. I guess if you listen to it every day, you don't notice it as much, but when you take the time off, you're like, oh my God.
Yeah. And that's what I'm like. That's what I was like. And I'm texting back and forth the other day with my cousin Jake, and he's gotten some real negative on some Boston sports things, and I'm like, you got to stop listening to Felger and Maz.
Yeah.
Wow. Purely positive over
All
here.
right, I like it. Let's see if our viewers like it though. The positive Snelly.
I mean, it's gotten so positive. I'm hearing people saying Drake Maye is going to upset the Bills Sunday night, and I'm like, oof.
We'll get
that's
into that
reaching.
in a minute.
Slow your roll, Dave. Slow your roll.
I'm just talking about the positivity.
Add the video to your personal page first.
Because I don't 100% disagree with your take. But we'll get into that in a minute. So, but come on. The Pats just blew out a team that I thought they were going to lose to. And yes, I get it. I'm an idiot. I guess I should have paid more attention that half of the Panthers' offensive line was out. They're missing players all over the place. I mean, they just blew out my Falcons. I thought the Panthers were going to be put on a little bit more of a show than what they did. And,
their number 2 receiver dislocated his elbow on the first play of the game.
Right.
So that left McMillan to be the only one.
And Gonzo, I mean... I talk a lot of crap about Gonzo. I do. I don't think he's there yet. But this game, he looked really good out there in McMillan. I was like, wow.
First game back, right?
Yeah, that's what really surprised me. Because McMillan, I get it, he's a rookie, but he's been really good for that Panthers team. And Gonzo stuck right with him. Yeah. I was watching him break in and out of routes, and you could see it. Like I tell you, I watched the replay of it all the time, and you could see Bryce Young look at him and Gonzo make the cut, and now Young didn't know what to do.
Yeah.
And it infuriates me because I have Chubba Hubbard on my fantasy team. I'm like, you got Chubba Hubbard open right there in the flat, but we're going to try to make something stupid happen.
Well, I have McMillan, and he missed him on a couple plays where a better pass, and he's getting some yards.
I got to give, sorry, Dave, I got to give Ron Cornish here his flowers. You did call it last week. You did say that was going to be the coming out and watch what was going to happen. And, I might have poo-pooed it a little bit, but you know what? I give it to you.
Yeah.
They look damn good.
Yeah, they got off to a little bit of a rocky start. The first,
Well, they let Carolina walk down the field.
Right down the field. Yeah.
And then they went out and went 3-and-out.
Yes.
And I was like,
typical Patriots style.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, we thought we were going to be caught up in the game. And then all of a sudden, Marcus Jones came to town and kind of helped blow that wide open.
Yeah.
And Drake Maye had all day back there. What a game for Will Campbell.
Yeah.
I mean, granted, he wasn't matched up against the greatest talent out
Doesn't
there.
matter. He's showing people that he can play at this level. Because I'll tell you what, 4 months ago, everybody was saying that guy's going to be a guard. You can't draft him at 4. These people know nothing. He is, he's been very, very solid. He might not be the best left tackle in football, but that's a position that's very difficult to get players at.
Hey, if you can be solid your rookie year,
100%.
the sky's the limit.
Yep.
And I'm happy I stuck to my guns on this guy and didn't cower to the arm thing. And I wasn't looking at you because you cowered to the arm thing. I was just looking at you.
You think Dave had short arms? Are you looking at his arms?
No, because he took a big sigh like he was ready to unload here.
No, I wasn't. No, I knew he was going to be the pick. And he was, the arm thing was talked about ad nauseum. But the talent was there, so you couldn't pass on him. and he's been fine. He's been better than fine. He's been really, really good.
I think fine's a good assessment.
Solid.
I think fine.
Solid.
He's been fine. He's been doing his job. Has he been anything spectacular? No, but he's a rookie, and he's doing all right over there.
But when do you give an offensive lineman like a spectacular?
I think if he shut down like Max Crosby, or he shut down T.J. Watt the way that he just did to the Panthers, I'd give him a spectacular. You know,
maybe that comes in the future. Maybe that comes.
He's playing a decent pass rush this weekend. Again, Buffalo has no real star breakout players,
but they have a good defensive line and linebackers. Yeah.
And if we see him, I think, protect Maye the way that he just did against the Panthers, I think we can be like, ooh, okay, we got something here.
Yeah.
So that's it. Yeah,
That's it.
That's all we got.
That's it.
Show's over.
It's offensive line.
Yes, but it's our top pick offensive line that everyone crapped on all summer long since last March.
Yes, a lot of people.
So
I tried not to because I've been saying it for a long time. You usually draft a lineman in the top 10. They're usually a hit. You don't miss on too many linemen. I'd have to go through the records to see, which ones were actually busts.
I'm assuming that's a position that doesn't get drafted as often. I mean, we have quarterbacks going top 10 all the time.
I'm going to say, off the top of my head, Robert Gallery was a top 5 pick.
Raiders?
who?
Robert Gallery.
Joey Galloway?
No, Robert Galloway. I remember Tony Mandarich, the Incredible Bulk, Green Bay Packers.
Yeah, he never really turned into a...
Troy Aikman was one. I believe Tony Mandarich was 2, right? Is that the order? He was number 2 overall, Green Bay.
That's a long time ago.
Yeah. He was on the cover of Sports Illustrated.
Yeah, he was supposed to be
Yeah.
a can't miss.
Yeah, he missed.
Yeah,
Pretty
he
bad.
did miss.
Yeah.
Because remember, he had to get off the juice.
Yeah, that was the issue.
Yeah, he came right out and said it. That he had to get off the juice.
Yeah.
And it
hurt.
Yeah.
Yeah. Not as good. Not as good. Can we talk about Drake Maye? Because I think that's one thing that, week 1 we saw Drake Maye. He looked a little scattered back there. He looked a little bit nervous. The last few weeks, I know the Pittsburgh game had some low points, but he's looked kind of mature back there.
The guy missed 3 passes.
This week. Yeah. And he made some great passes, too.
Yeah.
The back shoulder throw to Diggs.
This was
That was a beauty.
This was the first week. I'm sitting there on the couch, and I'm like, ooh, okay. This is the first week that I can honestly say that I asked him, all right, okay, Drake.
Look how
we got
composed he looked.
Yeah.
It almost looked like he was going through a walkthrough at practice. He looked very composed.
I'll give him his 14 for 17 for 203 yards, rushing touchdown, 2 TDs, 155.6 QBR rating. This was his coming out game, just Ron said earlier,
Yep, very solid, very solid.
And it's nice to see Diggs back in the fold.
Getting better.
Yep. If we can get that kind of performance from Diggs, that not only does that help out Maye, but that just opens up the rest of your offense, because now you're like, crap, we got a guy we have to guard out here.
Yeah.
So.
Well, they moved Douglas out, and they put Diggs primarily in that slot position, and it looks like he's very comfortable there.
Yeah.
So we're going to see a lot more of that.
And the tight ends are getting open.
They're solid.
And catching everything thrown their way. So I can't complain about that. One thing I'm a little disappointed was with Henderson. Another holding call.
Yeah, your boy.
In pass protection.
Yeah, I was listening to that on the radio because I was driving home. I drive home after the halftime. And Zolak was saying, and Zolak's pretty honest. He was like, that's a bad call. I didn't see it. But he's like, he just kind of pounded that guy into the ground. He didn't hold him.
I didn't think it was a hold either when I saw the replay, but it's just the fact that this is his, 3rd or 4th?
And it's up there.
Protection.
Yeah.
So, and it's like he's not getting as many reps because he keeps getting these penalties.
Right.
It's unfortunate. He hasn't been what we were hoping for right away, but it's early. It is early. It's very early.
Dave, I think he was pretty good this game. I think they spread it around a lot. They couldn't really feature him because Stevens was running well, Gibson was running well. So it's not. But Henderson, when he got the ball, he did his thing.
And there will be a time where somebody's hurt. Gibson's hurt or Stevenson, and he's
Josh
going to...
Stevenson keeps fumbling.
Or that, yeah. So he'll have his time.
Hopefully not.
Yeah,
But
yeah, I know.
Paul Connors chimes in. He feels like Drake and Josh are starting to mesh together.
They look like they're on the same page. Week 1 was kind of scary because we're like, oh, man, he looks worse now than he did last year. But Week 2 was pretty good. Week 3 had a lot of good signs. Week 4 was his best game as a pro. Looked very solid back there.
And Ron chimes back in. This week's going to be a big game for Diggs. He's got something to prove. Oh, yeah. I agree. This is
a big game for the Patriots
Buffalo
organization because I think with that win, I think that the NFL's in like 3 tiers, right? You have like your top 6, 7, 8 teams. You have like your bottom 15 teams that suck. And then there's like that level in the middle.
Paul chimes in. Diggs had
And
something.
nobody cares. Yeah, continue, Paul.
Diggs had something to prove when he played the Bills with the Texans that he didn't do anything. But if he can get wide open, Diggs will have a big game. That's obvious. If he gets wide open, he'll have a big game. But we saw this week, he didn't just get wide open. He caught passes under pressure. He made moves. Him
and Maye were on the same page,
right?
So
we'll see. So what were you saying again?
I think they elevated themselves out of that crap bag. Like, there's about 12, 13, like, terrible teams. The Jets, the Dolphins, the Carolina Panthers. And I think we were there. But you know what? There's a chance we're not there. There's a chance we're in that, like, next category, next tier.
Yeah, just a little bit up.
A little bit up. Yeah, we're not great. We're not a playoff.
Pile of crap. We're like a fart.
But if you can beat up on the crap teams, you're going to pull off 9 or 10 wins if you can beat up on the crap teams.
And their schedule is loaded with
crap teams.
So,
and then one of the teams that wasn't a crap team, Cincinnati, may now be a crap team with no quarterback.
They are.
When you're going to rely on Jake Browning, it's
Yeah, I mean they're not very well prepared to lose a guy like Burrow. Not that a lot of teams can lose their starting quarterback, but there are a handful of teams out there that are.
I mean, look at us if we lost.
Oh, I know. If we lost Drake, Josh Dobbs. Oof. I'd rather go with
DeVito.
DeVito. Yeah.
Yeah. Just for the name alone, I'd rather see him out there. Yeah. But I think Diggs is a guy that, he wants to play well against Buffalo, but everyone forgets his first year with every team he's with, he usually, he does pretty well. Houston maybe was a one-off for him, but I don't know, maybe it was a little too much partying while he was in Houston.
Houston wasn't bad.
Was he really?
Yeah, they just have a number of wide receivers, but he was solid.
Yeah, but I mean, he's 31 now. He's starting to look really good with Maye at this point. There really isn't a lot more motivation he needs going into Buffalo. He's trying to prove himself here. He wants the ball, and he's starting to show that he deserves it. So,
hey, speaking of people who want the ball, where was Chisholm this week?
I mean,
I didn't even see him on the sideline.
He did about as well as Douglas did.
I didn't even see him on the sideline. Well, I don't think anyone really was pumping Douglas's break. But, I mean, whatever the hell.
He did about as well as Douglas did, and Douglas was dressed for the game. So, hey, whatever. He's a rookie. He's not making it on the field. He might actually make a difference if he does, because Douglas isn't doing anything. He doesn't make any difference at all. Booty had a couple of catches. I mean, it was more Diggs and the tight ends in this game.
Yeah, and they're not getting much out of Williams either, which they were expecting.
Yeah. And
they really haven't featured Williams too much out there.
Yeah, and there's got to be an underlying reason, just like Chisholm not getting on the field.
I don't know if there's an underlying reason, because when you see Drake Maye out there, he spreads that ball around. He spreads it to the open receiver. It's kind of like something else that we saw before.
Yeah, we kind of need just one speed guy, someone like a Tyquan Thornton.
Keep going there. Yeah,
on the outside.
Once again, he had another great week.
Yeah, this guy's on fire.
Well, that's what happens when you go to a team that knows how to use wide receivers.
Yep,
right.
Yep.
So looking forward to this week, Dave. I think you're on to something. I think the Patriots could beat the Bills. And the only reason I say that is Miami gave him a game. It took until the end before he threw an interception. I mean, Miami was driving. Miami could have won that game if Tua didn't throw it away. Mm-hmm. And then you got the Saints, who just straight up suck.
Yes.
And they pushed this team for 3.5 quarters. Yeah. So if you got the Saints and the Dolphins that can put up points and kind of run most of the game, if these Patriots can play mistake-free football, that's the key. But I think Drake Maye and this offense can push back.
I wonder if the Bills kind of just went through the motions on those games. I don't think the Bills will do that with us. I think they feel us coming.
But you would think that Dolphins were supposed to be their competition. We weren't supposed to be their competition.
No.
Yeah. And the Dolphins hung with them.
Yeah.
And don't forget, we are going to be playing up. We do play the Bills for the most part well.
Yep.
So.
Oh, I hope so. I hope we have a game.
And I think you got to look at like Maye with his legs this week.
The hell's going on there?
I don't know.
You don't have your headphones on, but it sounded like Dave's belly, but I don't know what it was.
Are you hungry, Dave?
Not my belly. No.
Yep.
No, but Maye with his legs this week. I know Buffalo is kind of prone to giving up yardage to quarterbacks that can run, so maybe he picks up a lot more with his legs this week, which will open up the game a little bit more too. So we'll see. I mean,
this is the first game in a few years that I think everyone's going to be like really excited for, right?
I hate that it's on Sunday night
at
8:20.
I hate that, and I hate that I'm going to get excited for it, and it better be a good one.
It better be a good, even if they're competitive, right?
Yeah,
and you have a chance to win in the fourth quarter.
I think coming into the season, we looked at this Bills game and we're like, lost.
Oh,
they're going to get
we all gave it a loss, yep.
But then after watching these first 4 weeks, and I'm not even just talking about how good the Patriots look, I'm just talking about how bad the Bills' defense looks.
Yeah.
They are, they're suspect. And I have to point out that I did say when we were picking these games that if the Patriots pulled off the miracle in Miami, then I had to change my pick for this week's game. So I have to put the Patriots for a win Sunday night.
Yep.
Oh, you're going to change it now? We can do that?
No, we can't do that.
Yeah.
It was part of my picks.
Yeah.
Huh.
I said if they win in Miami.
Each one of my picks was like, well, if they lose this game, they could possibly win this game.
Nope. You guys all said, all right, yep.
So Paul chimes in, what about the rumors with A.J. Brown again? He isn't happy and talks of him and going to Vrabel. The thing with A.J. Brown in Philadelphia is not a stupid team. They are going to keep A.J. Brown because they know if they need him, he will still make the catch. A.J. Brown is not only is an excellent wide receiver, he's got a good work ethic. Like he continues to show up no matter what. No matter if he doesn't want to be there or not, he's a guy that's going to show up every week, and then hopefully things work its way out. In Philadelphia, like I said, they're a smart team. They're not going to trade A.J. Brown for nothing.
They're a Super Bowl contender.
Yeah, they're going to want a king's ransom for him, and he's not coming here. I mean, maybe
what would you give up for A.J. Brown? A second-round pick? They're not going to take that.
What do we have to give up?
I wouldn't give up a first.
No.
Kyle Duggar. And a first-round pick.
Yeah. Chisholm. You think they want Chisholm?
Yeah, we'll give you Chisholm.
Look
how good he looked against the electricians and sprinkler fitters in the off season.
Look at these preseason highlights.
So yeah, I mean A.J. Brown, like you think you said it earlier, Paul. It's a long shot. It's a pipe dream. I mean, unless something really happens in Philly, like if Hurst gets hurt or something, and they are.
Or it just totally like breaks down and they have like it's all.
It would take him having a meltdown, and he's not going to do that.
And I can see, yes, they trade him, but like you just said, Tony, we have nothing to offer.
It would have to be a first-round pick.
Right, exactly. But we aren't a terrible team right now. We, like you just said, may get 8 or 9 wins. That's not a desirable first-round pick.
Right.
There are many other teams who are going to be in worse shape.
The only way Philly does that is if there's a total meltdown with communication with them. I don't see that happening.
No.
I don't see that happening.
Nope.
Don't get excited, Paul.
A lot of people in Patriot world, I see it every day out there, you know, him photoshopped in a Patriots uniform, and I'm like, geez, you guys did the same thing earlier in the year with what's his name from Dallas.
Well, Well,
with Parsons,
yeah.
you did it with McLaren. I'm like, none of these people
It
are
happened.
coming here. The Patriots aren't a desirable place to play right now.
When they first brought Vrabel on, the talk was, A.J.
Right.
Brown wants to come
Well, it's
play
easy
for
to
him.
make that connection where they liked each other, they played with each other, or he played for Vrabel. It's easy to make that connection, and who knows? Maybe if it does totally collapse over there, maybe, but I'm not seeing it.
There's other places I could see him going.
Yeah.
The Chiefs.
Hey, great if it happens, but no, they're not gonna. They wouldn't trade him to the Chiefs.
You know, the right package, people don't care. They'll trade.
I don't know.
They're not a division rival.
No, but they're favored to be in the Super Bowl again. So
Yeah. I mean, hey, they just finally got off the schneid. They had a big win in
Yep,
Baltimore.
huge win.
Lamar Jackson seemed to have quit and all of a sudden have a hamstring injury. And then you look at him on the sideline. I don't know if you saw the pictures of him. He had like the band on him that's supposed to be holding like ice, and it was just a towel. And he was just sitting there.
Yeah.
I don't know. To me, he kind of quit on that team.
Huh.
So
Well, they're 1-3, right?
yeah, the Ravens are done.
they look.
How are they going to
look
come
bad.
back?
Well, their division's not great.
But you're 1-3. Lamar's already
Yeah.
well, he's questionable for if he doesn't play this weekend. You're 1-4.
Yeah, what do you have in your division?
Pittsburgh.
Pittsburgh,
Cleveland,
Cleveland, Cincinnati.
Yeah.
So you can win that division with 9 wins. Maybe.
You can win that division with 5 wins.
Yeah, maybe. Yeah.
The way it's going.
You can be under 500, win that
Dylan
division.
Gabriel is about to start.
I know.
The Cleveland era is about to get a big facelift with Dylan Gabriel coming out there.
I mean, I'm surprised they waited this long.
I know. I don't know.
They've looked
I mean,
bad.
They beat the
at
Packers.
quarterback.
So
Yeah, I mean, Cleveland's a team that every year it's like their defense does well, and they just can't find a quarterback. And
It's not for lack of trying.
oh, I know
They've been trying.
They've been trying.
Yeah,
They're
they just can't find one.
they
Maybe this will be the guy.
it's one of those places where quarterbacks
Go to die.
Go to die.
I don't know. Baker wasn't dying there.
No, but they got rid of him.
They got rid of him because they listened to Odell Beckham's dad,
Yeah.
which was, and then that's
good
another
idea.
regret. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, you're running a team. I take advice from someone's dad.
Yeah.
Yeah. I take advice from us,
Yeah.
I mean,
Probably
hey,
better off.
probably- Yeah,
It
exactly.
might be.
Our Colts finally lost.
We knew that was coming eventually, but
Hey, the Rams played a hell of a game, and they decided at the end of that game to forget to cover Tutu Atwell, who was wide open running down the field for the touchdown. So, and then you had James Taylor bust off. Did you see any of that at
No.
all? He
Not one
busted
play.
off a beautiful 53-yard run to take the lead.
and holding.
Holding.
And it wasn't even the holding call was one of those that we get mad of every week. Like there was no need to call
yeah,
it.
okay.
It wasn't an egregious hold. It's almost
After the player was already 5 yards past them.
Yeah.
Things like that.
Maybe
The
I'll
guy
throw the
was
flag.
drives you insane.
way off to the left, and he took the block and twisted the guy and put him down. And you can see he had him grab it. I'm like, that guy had no relevance to the play.
Right.
Yeah.
No relevance to the play. Oh, I cannot wait till we get rid of holding. They're just, who cares? Hold. If you're strong and powerful enough, you're going to break that hold.
Yeah.
Infuriating.
It's either that or just start taping the lineman's hands up.
Yeah.
Offensive and defensive linemen have to play with nubs.
The mitts that they wear to slide in,
Oh,
in
the
baseball.
oven mitts. The oven mitts. Yeah. All right. Why don't we do that?
Get rid of these holds. It ruins the game. It ruins, like, guys make a real nice play, and then you see a flag, and you're like, stupid holding.
Yeah. And you could really call it on pretty much every play.
I can't believe I'm reading this right now. Dylan Gabriel is not an NFL quarterback from Paul Corners.
Why? Because he didn't go to Oregon?
Didn't he go to Oregon?
Oh, he did go to Oregon, right?
I think something auto corrected
Yeah.
his chiming
Is
in.
that his wife?
Great college quarterback, but that's it. He's too short, and he will be another Kyler Murray.
Kyler Murray's pretty good.
Paul, how do we know this is you chiming in?
Yeah.
This doesn't seem like you
Yeah,
chiming
right?
in against an Oregon Ducks player. Wow. That's it.
That's interesting.
Can we talk about something? Probably one of the most disgusting things that I saw this weekend in the NFL.
What was it?
That we still have ties.
Oh, God.
I watched that game. I watched the whole game. I kind of liked it because I don't really like either one of those teams. And it just kind of messes up like the playoff seeding
It
and
just screws
everything up. Yeah, I kind of like that.
I'm sorry, Tony. I cannot stand ties in the NFL.
Yeah, if it happened to the Patriots, I wouldn't like it. But with those two teams, I don't really like those teams. I'm a fan of it.
Yeah. I don't know.
That couldn't be Paul. He would never say that.
Yeah, I mean, and how good was Micah Parsons, huh? I mean, good.
Made one play, a very important play.
Yeah, it really wasn't even a sack, though. That was it. They called it a sack. That was the only play of the game. And basically, he just tripped up.
He saved the touchdown.
Yeah. But other than that, I mean, he was a ghost that whole game.
Yeah, he didn't do much. He didn't do much. Yeah.
Maybe he was a little nervous playing in Dallas. I don't know.
That's not what you were toting last week. You know, Micah Parsons is the best player to ever play in the NFL.
I never said
Remember,
that.
he should have been playing tight end. If they
never
lost
said he was
the game,
best player in the NFL.
They lost
he
the
is
game
a game
to Cleveland,
changer
Dave.
on defense.
Dave, they lost the game to Cleveland because they wouldn't put Micah Parsons in a tight end.
That's
I
probably
believe
what
that's what
happened.
It's probably what happened.
He's a game changer. You can say whatever you want about him. He changes the defense. Green Bay's defense was good. Now they're better.
They just let up 40 points
No kidding.
to Dallas, who didn't even have Des Bryant.
It would have been.
They couldn't stop the run.
43.
Des
Javonte
Bryant,
Williams-
he retired years ago.
Not Des Bryant. You know I'm
They
bad
don't-
with names.
CD Lamb.
They don't
Lamb.
need CD Lamb.
CD, Des.
CD
whatever.
Lamb is a fantasy points guy. That's it.
Yeah.
Dak just needs George Pickens.
They couldn't
That was
stop
it.
Javonte Williams running down their throat.
Okay.
I don't know. Micah Parsons.
He's not a run.
What does he do? He's not a run stopper. I mean, he didn't
I
really
don't
sack
know why you trash Micah Parsons. And I'm not a Dallas fan. I never was, so I wasn't like a Micah Parsons fan, but he's a great player. He's a great player. You can take it away from him.
2 weeks ago,
All
you
right,
were
Mike
saying
says Micah Parsons sucks.
no. You were saying the Cowboys would have won
Worst
if
linebacker
Micah
in the
Parsons was
NFL.
there. You said Micah Parsons does not win football games.
He changes a defense.
He made him look better.
He changes how a team has to scheme against you.
He got the
He
Browns
changes
their only
a lot
win.
of things. So,
He made Dallas look like world beaters.
whatever. Trash Micah Parsons all you want. He's one of the best linebackers in football. And whatever.
Yeah.
It's September.
Average. Give me TJ Watt.
Average.
Average at best. Oh,
TJ Watt can't play 17 games. Hasn't yet.
he's good, but he doesn't. He's not
good.
going to win you the Super Bowl.
I mean,
He's not. He's not.
Well,
Are we gonna make a $500 bet on that one?
No. Green Bay actually has a chance to get to the Super
do.
Bowl this
They
year.
do.
Not if they keep losing.
But-
not this time.
Yeah,
It's gonna
not
screw them.
with a tie now.
Well, if you play against the Chiefs in the Super Bowl, they don't call holding in the Super Bowl against the Chiefs. Just ask Nick Bosa.
Yep.
You know, Brian Hunt chimes in. Dallas knows how to play Parsons. I completely agree. They knew how to stop him. It's just, it doesn't fit my argument on
Yes.
Dave right now. All right. So I chose to leave that out of any part of my argument.
Yeah.
Hey, as long as Jerry Jones is running Dallas, they will never win another playoff game.
Yeah.
The guy is horrendous.
I can't argue with that.
So he drove Parsons out. He almost drove CD Lamb out. He way overpaid Dak Prescott. And I don't even hate Dak Prescott other than that he's a Cowboy, but way overpaid. So,
But at the time, and I don't want to make this a Cowboys thing, but you kind of had to pay him.
It's hard. He's a top 10-ish quarterback. It's hard to get those guys.
but they brought in Trey Lance.
Yeah.
But in all honesty, they had him handcuffed. You have to get CD Lamb. You could call him a fantasy, whatever you want, but CD Lamb is nails out there.
No, he's a good receiver.
You had to pay Bryant. I get it. But I can also see they didn't have to pay Parsons. Parsons wasn't going to put the Cowboys over the top, right?
No one is. They're
And I do understand Green Bay because Parsons can help that defense out. But I don't know. Jerry Jones had to pay those guys. They had him by the balls. CD Lamb and Dak Prescott don't walk off the street right now. And if they let Prescott go, you would have been you would have been in the running for Manning this year because you would have been relying on.
And you're trying to find a quarterback over the next 20 years. When you have one, you have to pay him. It's just the way it is. And we're going to have that issue with Drake Maye. He's going to make $50, $60 million a year, and the Bears are going to have the issue. I mean, if you have one, What do? You have to pay
you're
them.
gonna have to pay him.
Yeah.
Oh, I get it.
And you know what? What a perfect segue into our newest segment.
This is the Probably Wrong Podcast 2024 QB Weekly Redraft, where after each week's quarterback performance, we take a look back at the 2024 draft and decide who should have gone number one and who now sucks.
All right, I have the stats from last week for every player. You do too. All right, I'm going to read them off, and then we'll go in order.
Okay, should we read the names or just the stats?
Probably the names. Right?
Okay, because I didn't know if you want to go by stats and be like, that guy's the number one quarterback.
Wait, you're missing a couple.
Yeah, Well, I didn't feel like putting Spencer Rattler up there or two no-shows.
No, I meant the other two.
All right, so we got Caleb Williams, come from behind victory, 22 for 37, 212 yards, 1 TD, 1 interception, a QBR of 73.3.
Yeah.
All right, Jaden Daniels, who was picked number 2 overall, did not play once again. Drake Maye, who was picked number 3, week 4 stats, 14 for 17, 203 yards, 2 TDs, 0 interceptions, a QBR of 155, and he also rushed for a touchdown. All right, Michael Penix, a little bit of a comeback game for Michael Penix. 20 for 26, 313 yards, 2 TDs, 1 INT, a QBR of 126. J.J. McCarthy, Dave's boy, DNP, with the high ankle sprain, I believe. So he might be out for a few more weeks. And last but not least, Bo Nix, 29 for 42, 326 yards, 2 TDs, 1 INT, a QBR quarterback rating of 97.9.
I don't understand why Spencer Rattler didn't make the list.
And
He wasn't drafted in the first round, was he?
No, but still, he was 18 for 27 with 126 yards and 1 TD.
All right.
And he rushed for almost 50 yards with a QB rating of 89.4.
All right, so a better QB rating than Caleb Williams.
Yeah.
Maybe next week, Spencer. Keep it up.
yeah, keep it up.
We might throw you in there. All right, so Dave, if you had to redraft, you have to go 1 through 6, and you get to pick the quarterbacks. Who you going number 1?
I mean, at this point, you're kind of looking at, because none of these guys really played great teams, but
Gotta say Bo Nix.
no, you gotta go with Maye.
Yeah, you go Maye number 1 over Jaden Daniels.
I agree right now.
Woo!
Jaden Daniels can't get on the field.
I know.
Jaden
Made the playoffs
Daniels
last year,
can't get
though.
on the field. McCarthy can't get on the field, and I'll tell you what, Minnesota is probably like, please just get back on the field, play with one ankle, because
But
Carson Wentz sucks.
we're doing this week to week, right? We're doing this week to
Yeah, but if I had to draft today, you'd go Drake Maye number 1.
Maye and then Nix.
week. Yeah, I'd have to go Maye and then Penix.
All right. See, I think I'm looking at it different. If I had to draft a player for the next 5 years.
I thought we were doing this each week.
I think we'll go
Each week redraft.
Okay, all right. So
That's how I thought we were doing
best
it.
player of the week.
Yeah, best player of the week.
Oh,
and
then
if I
it's
had to
easily
go
Drake
off,
Maye.
you're taking Drake Maye number 1 right now.
100%. Yep.
100%. Even if you want to figure in last week, I think Drake Maye is your clear cut most consistent right now.
He's on the up.
Yes.
Yep. All right. So go ahead, Dave. So you went Drake Maye 1.
Yeah, I'd have to go Bo Nix,
Of course he's
Bo Nix.
probably Penix, and then I guess I have to take Caleb, right? Because I'm not taking Daniels. He's when he got drafted, he's skinny, looks fragile, can't get on the field now,
I love Daniels, but
and he can't get on the field.
Watch how quick it changes in week 6 or 7 when
It
Daniels,
won't.
When it comes
when
back.
Daniels
Yeah,
comes back and rushes for 2 touchdowns.
Yeah.
Daniels clear cut number 1.
Yeah, no doubt about it. All right. So Snelly, you're going Drake Maye number 1.
Yes. And if we're doing it week to week, I mean, Penix had a hell of a bounce back week, showed some true grit, played a Redskins team that was in the playoffs last year, has still a decent defense, stepped up, made some great throws, made some great runs.
You were ripping this guy apart
I was
last week.
destroying him last week, but
We got benched.
he did.
He did.
But when you see a guy come out like that off of a benching, right, and play the way that he did, and the thing that I loved most about Penix, not just the stats last week, is the confidence in the pocket. He wasn't second-guessing himself. He wasn't panicking. He was confident on his reads. He was not looking down his receivers. I was like, wow, okay, Penix, this is the guy that you were talking about. This is the guy that you loved his arm.
Yeah.
This is the guy that if you can get Penix like this every week, watch out for the Atlanta Falcons.
Oh, yeah, because they have a talented team, right?
But we don't know if we can get that every week.
No. or something even close to that,
right.
Like just a little bit more consistent play.
Yeah.
All right, so...
and then you get Bo Nix, who, he looked lights out. Wow. I mean, overall, I think over the past 2 seasons, Bo Nix has been the most consistent.
Well, he probably has
the
best system to play in with the best guy leading him, right?
Yeah.
I actually heard Zolak talking about him, and he's like, it looks good, but he's a system quarterback. He's just in a very, very good system.
But I hate that when people will be like, he's a system quarterback. Isn't that what you're supposed to be when you're drafted and you have your when you have your
play
coach,
your system well.
You have your quarterback, you have the team around you. You want a guy to buy into and be that system.
100%. But I think what Zolak was trying to say is that if you put Drake Maye there in Denver, he would look just as good, if not better.
But I think if you put Bo Nix here in New England, I think Bo Nix looks better than what Maye did.
Yeah.
In the total body of work.
Well, I got to give Nix the edge because he's older, more experienced.
Yeah. How old? He's 26?
25, I think.
25, yeah.
Yeah,
He's got a couple of years. Drake Maye is young. He just turned 23.
Correct.
So he's one of the younger ones out of this draft class. So he's got a little more leeway. Got to give him a little more time to develop. Some of these other guys have kind of been around for a little bit.
Yeah, and they played a lot more football in college as well.
But I think any one of these guys, you put them with Sean Payton, they're going to play well.
Right.
His system works.
Yeah. All right, so if I had... I'm going to do it a little bit differently if you guys don't mind. If I had to draft for the next 5 years...
Well, then that's different.
That's different. So my names are going to be different than...
Well, way to change up the segment to fit your narrative.
Guys. We'll figure this out by next week. All right, so Jaden Daniels, number 1.
What has he shown you the past 2 weeks?
Nothing. He hasn't played. But you know what? If I'm looking at the next 4 or 5 years, I think I'd want Jaden Daniels as my quarterback. I think I might bump Drake Maye up ahead of Caleb Williams.
I gotta... After what you've seen the past 2 weeks, even the past 3 weeks with Drake Maye, and just the maturity and him making plays and moving around, you're really taking Daniels over him.
Yeah. I think there's something special about Daniels.
I get it.
Yeah. I think he's a top 10 quarterback in football right now.
And people are going to... I take away everything Daniels did in the regular season, and I look at what he did in the playoffs. Okay, you have an argument there, because that was his first year in the playoffs, and the guy looked nails.
Yeah.
So, but I don't know. Maye just...
Did he look nails? Philadelphia.
Right, but
that was the Super Bowl champions.
But they beat Detroit.
But they went against a top-tier defense that didn't fall for the smoke and mirrors that
right, but they beat
Washington
Detroit.
Redskins.
They beat Detroit in Detroit.
Yes,
none of us thought that would happen.
No.
I know if you go back in the tape, because Detroit had no defense.
Yeah, Detroit had no defense, and
I guess because I bet on the Redskins.
Okay, all right.
Yeah, a lot of the stuff I watched with Washington was like hiding the ball, fake handoffs,
trickery. Kind of like Boise State.
And I'm not taking anything away from Daniels.
He
made some nice throws and everything, but a lot of it, the running around and everything, was a lot of this fake stuff
and he had a lot of come from behind victories last year too.
Yeah, I mean, he had the Hail Mary.
Recency bias, though, guys. Recency bias.
Yeah.
We haven't seen Daniels in 3 weeks. I kind of forget about him. Drake Maye has been tearing it up.
Watched him. Did I hear about him on the radio? So he must be better.
Okay. Last part of this segment, though, where do we think Caleb is right now? Before we got to get into baseball. We get running up against him.
I like Caleb Williams. I think he's going to be okay.
Tony loves him as a person as well.
I don't like him as a person, but I would say right now Drake Maye and Caleb Williams are in that range of like 15 to 20 quarterback.
I think Maye's better than Caleb Williams right now.
100%.
Yeah.
But I think if it all pans out for Caleb Williams, I think his upside is a little bit higher.
If he can control, because like you said, I think 2 weeks ago, the way Caleb can move and still fire that ball with the velocity and accuracy that he can, I think that's what separates him from every other quarterback in this draft. But he has a lot of things around him that don't put him there. Like watching him this weekend really drove me crazy because I'm like, you're not reading the field. He's still picking. It's almost like he's listening to the play, picking his wide receiver, and following that wide receiver. And if that wide receiver doesn't get open, he panics.
Do you know what's going to hurt him is
his fingernails?
But the ownership there, they like to get rid of coaches pretty quick. And you got to kind of let this coach do his thing for a few years.
Right.
And I think the Patriots are more willing to stick with Vrabel for a few years to see what he can do with Drake Maye. Where I think Chicago's like, if they don't turn this around in 1 year, they're going to fire this guy.
Chicago also has a pretty good team. So you can see why they're going to get frustrated a little bit quicker. I think we're trying to rebuild a team, so we have to be a little bit more patient with that.
All right, guys, we'll get to this next week.
Right.
We got to get into baseball.
Yes, all right.
We have the Sox going to be on in 15 minutes.
Yeah,
I know, we were way over on football tonight.
That's fine.
You know? But, man, what a game by our Boston Red Sox last night.
Yep.
Garret Crochet nails. And I think you said before the game we're going to need a Scooble-type performance on Garret
and he got it.
And he gave it to us.
Yep.
I honestly, I wanted to see him go a little bit more, but we had Chapman. I would like to see Crochet finish that inning and then just bring Chapman in for the ninth. Whatever.
But he also pitched into the 117
Yeah,
pitches.
he was up there.
But he came out before that. I'll pitch 130. I'm going to do whatever it takes to win this game.
They'll say that, but they're not going to let him do that.
No.
But this was... I mean, at the beginning of the year, we were like, can he last? He's only pitched 160 innings in a season before, and he pitched over 200 this year. And then what can he do if he makes it into the playoffs? Because a lot of guys poop their pants in the playoffs.
Brightest lights.
And he was amazing.
Yankee Stadium.
Yeah, he was amazing last night.
And I know we're all over the Alex Cora for being driven by the upstairs, right? The analytics. And I think last night was two coaches. One coach went with analytics. One coach went with playing baseball.
Yep.
And the guy that went through with the gut feeling and what's happening on that field and the feel for the game won it.
Yep.
Because if Boone kept Fried out there, I think we may have a different outcome. I think they may still be playing.
We'll never know.
But Boone went with the analytics, pulled his guy, brought in his crappy bullpen, and I think everyone in Red Sox Nation, as soon as Fried went out, were like, we got this.
Yeah.
Because that bullpen is horrendous.
Yeah, they've had a rough. They've had a rough year.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was great to see Crochet go out there. I think after watching yesterday's baseball, I think the second most important athlete in pro sports behind the quarterback is that legit number one ace.
Yes.
And there's only three in baseball. It's Skeen, Scooble, and Crochet. Because Fried isn't a guy that you give the ball to and say, go give us 8, get us into the 8th inning.
He could have done it last night.
He could have, but it doesn't look as dominant as Garret Crochet. Because he was starting to fall apart a little bit. Crochet's still throwing 98 miles an hour. There are men on base against Fried. Go ahead, Dave.
But the other thing is, like, these guys they're studs in the regular season, and then the postseason starts, and you kind of worry, like, because he's never been there. And some of these other pitchers, like Skeens, will probably he's not going to see the playoffs until he gets traded to a real team. So you don't know, like, he's dominant in the regular season, and all year Crochet looked great. Last night gives up a home run early, and it's like, is he gonna?
And then he retired, I think, 13 in a row after that.
I know, it was 14.
14 in a row.
Yeah, he locked it down.
Yeah.
Some guys will crumble. Especially in the playoffs.
Against New York, New York.
And that's what I want to see tonight, because the guy that we have on the mound can either pitch like Crochet or is known to crumble.
Yeah.
Very bad. And if he crumbles against the Yankees in Game 2, we're screwed, because I think I had mentioned to you earlier, and we might have talked about it, but I think it's kind of a consensus feeling here in Boston. If we lose Game 2, this series swings huge to the Yankees, because we don't have a third starter right now. You're gonna bring in Conley early, which is this game is gonna be way over that guy's head.
Maybe we'll see. He's a lefty, and the good thing about a lefty is they're gonna probably sit Rice, they're gonna sit Chisholm.
I don't think they do that in Game 3.
Yeah,
I don't think they do, because of the amount of criticism that Boone got. And Boone is an idiot manager. I can't believe he's still there. He's a guy that would like you just said, they should sit those guys, right? But Boone is going to listen to the criticism he got in game 1 and going to start those guys.
Maybe.
But we need to win tonight. You need Bayo to come out game 2 and play the way that he's been playing. And hopefully Bregman and Crochet and Wong, these guys that they say have been instrumental in this clubhouse, can keep Bayo in check.
Yeah.
And one more thing with that, I think we'll notice that right away, is if you get a couple balls, right? And quickly we have a mound visit and you see Bregman out there. Because did you notice last night in that final strikeout, right? When they had the, when it was a full count, right? They came out before Crochet got that strikeout. Did you see Bayo? I mean, not Bayo. Did you see Bregman telling him what to do and where to throw it? I was like, he was the vocal point of that mound visit.
Yeah, he should win Manager of the Year. Because he's the one that's been managing this team.
And then it's like when I saw him speaking in that, I go, it came right down and fired that throw, and it panned out, and you saw Bregman, like you said, Manager of the Year.
Yeah, I'll tell you what, if this was Bayo last year, we get killed today.
Yeah.
Because any bit of adversity last year, he would crumble. This year, he's been a little bit better about it. So hopefully he comes out and is hitting his spots, and it'd be nice if they got a nice 2-3 run lead. It's hard for this offense to score. They don't have a ton of offense. They gotta go base hit after base hit after base hit, and
great stolen base by Trevor Story last night. When he stole second, and that was, and then now
he got the third run.
Yeah.
Okay, and then Bregman nailed him in.
Yeah.
Yes. So, and they didn't run with Rafaela.
Right.
Yeah. So,
well, Trevor Story was 35 for 35 this year.
Yeah, you got caught once late in the season.
Late in the season, got a little cocky.
Yes, but that's something that this team has to do. They have to run because they don't have enough power, and it's not double after double; it's single after single, and you got to find a way to manufacture runs.
When you looked at that lineup last night, it was like, what is this?
It looks like a AAA lineup. All the names, you know.
Can we talk about the big negative from last night? And I love this guy, but Jarren Duran last night. He had a couple moments that he could have been the guy, and he didn't do it.
He's had a rough season. There's a lot of swing and miss with Jarren Duran. Yeah. A lot of swing. And against the lefty, I know they bat him 7th. You almost think, I'd rather see Wilyer Abreu in the lineup. At least he's a better defender. He just looks lost against left-handed pitchers.
Last night was not good.
He's waiting for tonight.
Hopefully.
Yeah, hopefully. And he has had hits off Rodon before, so hopefully. But
overall, too, what was driving me crazy is you get a 3-0 pitch, right? When you have a 3-0 pitch, that next pitch is usually a pitch to hit. And we sat on every single one, and every single 3-0 pitch was over the middle of the plate.
Duran?
Yeah.
No, with anybody last night.
Yeah.
And we sat on it, and then we swung on the 3-1 pitch, and I'm still over there looking at it, and they're all off they're all right on the corner. I go, what are we doing? It drives me, like last night, I'm like, it was a pattern.
The only hitter I think that's good enough on this team to recognize a 3-0 pitch, I think it's Bregman. Everyone else, like Trevor Story, there's a lot of swing and miss. Abreu, there's a lot of swing and miss. Duran.
But last night, every single, because I think it was like the third time, and I think it was when Duran got up there. I was like, okay, it's a 3-0 pitch. They're going to get him right over the middle. Watch. And he threw it right over the middle, and Duran sat on it.
A little tight.
And then immediately they throw it down and away, and he swings. And I'm like, oh.
And then they throw one over his head. Swings at that. Yeah.
It's like 90% of the time, a 3-0 pitch is just a fastball down the middle.
Yeah.
And you wonder sometimes, especially in a playoff series, and if you're a guy who's struggling, if you get the pitch at 3-0, you take a swing.
Yeah.
You're not doing so great, take a swing.
So, next week, hopefully we're sitting in here talking about the Bluejays series, which I think will be another great series.
Yep.
But we're really up against it, so let's go real quick. Cleveland evens the series today.
Yes, 1-1.
And I think Cleveland's going to take the series now, because once they got past Skubal,
there's nothing left.
There's nothing
left.
You got the Dodgers. They're going to smoke. They're going to smoke LA, so we won't even do that. But the Padres even up the series tonight.
Oh, they won too?
They're about to. It's the top of the 9th. They're up 3-0. I don't really see the Cubs coming back on that one.
All right.
So, and that's another tough one. Both those teams.
Cincinnati with Terry Francona.
Yeah,
but they're up against the Dodgers. That series is
and the
all
only reason they're in the playoffs is because the Mets suck. The Mets had a terrible, like, second half of the season. The Cincinnati Reds were 40-40 over their last 80 games. It's not like they deserved to get in. They just got in because the Mets blew a lead.
And I got to say, you called it earlier in the year. I gave you your flowers. I took a victory lap around TikTok. You pretty much nailed it how they were going to be this year. You called out that I think Soto, they needed another bat because he was going to walk about 130 times. I think he finished with 126 walks this year. Yeah. You called out
the pitching
Alonso, who had a great first half of the year, and that kind of set his stats for the second half. But the second half, it was right down to, well, this guy's falling off because every team realizes that we could just pitch to Pete Alonso.
Yeah, and there's nobody after Pete Alonso, so you don't need to throw him a strike.
And Venitos, you called out that Venitos was going to fall off this year. Ventos, and
so this is
he disappeared.
This is a Tony saying, I told you so.
Yeah, well, this is the Mike saying Tony told you so. Prick talk.
I was the one fighting with all these guys.
Yeah. You love it. Yeah, I don't care to fight with anybody, but
God forbid if these Cubs lose this series because the wrath is coming out.
Well, the Cubs have had a great year, though. The Cubs have had a great year.
But that's what we said earlier in the year, because the Cubs were earlier in the year far and away the best team in baseball.
Yeah.
And we said, do they have enough? We didn't think to keep it. I mean, they dropped down to 4. I mean, luckily enough, they could have been down to 5th. But hey, they held on. They got in the wild card, and they're in for it against the Padres.
Yeah.
We'll see.
2 solid teams. Can we talk about the bet real quick?
Real quick.
I won the bet. Detroit made the playoffs. Barely. Down to the wire.
Down to the
wire.
You can thank the Houston Astros for that one.
Yeah. I actually watched that Astros game, and Mike Trout hit a game-winning homer. So that kind of helped quite a bit. And then, that got a little nerve-wracking.
It was out there. Matty P, your take almost held. Almost held. You know, but hey, there's no almost in bets.
No.
The Venmo's in the group chat.
Yes, it is. All right, we'll see you next week. Hopefully talking about the Sox and Blue Jays and a Patriots win over the Buffalo Bills.
All right, check you later.